Hello and welcome to the next poem from your textbook. The name of the poem is A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal, and the poem is by William Wordsworth. Now, if you can see this image, it's not a very nice image. It does, arouse feelings of pain and suffering and remembrance. So, what is the poem about? The poem begins with the lines, "A slumber did my spirit seal, I had no human fears." Now, before we start to understand the poem line by line, we need to know a few things about the poem. This poem is written by William Wordsworth and it's a lyrical ballet. And I'll explain that in the next slides, what is a lyrical ballet. In this poem, the beloved of the poet, her name was Lucy, she passes away. And he has expressed his pain, his sorrow, his suffering, his regret in these lines. So that is the backdrop of the poem, that the poet's beloved, whose name was Lucy, has passed away. Now, what is the effect of her passing away on the poet? He says that a slumber did my spirit seal, I had no human fears. Slumber means deep sleep. Slumber means a deep sleep. So the poet's spirit, his soul here, has sealed, has stopped feeling anything, and it's gone into a deep sleep. I had no human fears. He doesn't feel any emotion. He doesn't feel happiness. He doesn't feel any fear. He doesn't feel any other emotion as well. There are no fears for him. Nothing frightens him much. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. She looked like a thing that could not feel. Now, how does she look like? She looks like somebody who doesn't feel anything. So somebody who doesn't feel, or anything which doesn't feel, you don't feel anything from that, means that it is no more living. It doesn't have that, human-like qualities now. It has gone. वो जा चुके हैं. The touch of earthly years. The touch of earthly years refers to the, एक second, the touch of earthly years. भूल गई. She seemed a thing that could not feel the touch of earthly years. In these stanza, in these lines, he's saying that she has gone and she's no more with her. No more. And what are the qualities that he attributes? That she could not feel. She was not able to feel, and she would not be able to touch, or he was not able to feel her touch anymore. Of earthly years means residing here, staying on the earth. So all of her years, her time, her life that was here on earth is over. It's gone. No motion has she now, no force she neither hears nor sees. So these are the attributes. ये विशेषताएं हैं जो वो समझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. He's saying that she doesn't have any motion and no force. Motion मतलब movement. She doesn't have any movement. Now she's dead, so she's not moving. She doesn't have any force. She cannot hear nor can she see. Rolled round in earth's diurnal course with rocks and stones and trees. Now, she's there. In this stanza, he says, rolled round in earth's diurnal course with rocks and stones and trees. So, what is rolling? The earth is rolling. Diurnal matlab daily. जो daily rotation है of the earth, that is happening. Everything is moving as it used to. but except the lady whom she loved. The meaning is given here. Its daily is Earth's rotation on its axis. A slumber did my spirit seal, says the poet. That is a deep sleep, closed off his soul. How does the poet react to his loved one's death? Does he feel bitter grief or does he feel a great peace? Now, if we have to write this answer, the poet is in deep shock. He's in pain and he's in so much of pain and so much of shock that he cannot feel himself, that he cannot feel anything moving. He cannot feel anything moving. So that is the poet's feelings. He doesn't feel bitter grief. I mean, he feels grief, but the feelings are not very bitter. Or does he feel a great peace? No, certainly doesn't feel peaceful at all. The passing of time will no longer affect her, says the poet. Which lines of the poem say this? This is said in the last lines of the poem, which have the last lines of the poem. It's said in the last lines of the poem, round and round, which has that diagonal till the end. That it's there in the last lines. How does the poet imagine her to be after death? Does he think of her as a person living in a very happy state? Or does he see her now as a part of nature? In which lines of the poem do you find your answer? The poet imagines her to be not moving, immovable, something which is static. Does he think of a person living in a very happy state? No. He doesn't feel that she'll be in a happy state. But yes, he does see her as a part of nature. Yes, he sees her as a part of nature. In which lines of the poem do you find your answer? It's there in the last line with tones, and it's there till the very end of the poem. So this is a small brief intro about William Wordsworth. He's William Wordsworth and he's a very, very renowned English poet. It's a poem by William Wordsworth written in 1798 and it was published in the 1800 edition of Lyrical Ballads. Now these are the two things that you need to remember. William Wordsworth in 1798 and it is a part of Lyrical Ballads. Now what are Lyrical Ballads? I'll explain in the next slide. It is usually included as one of his The Lucy poems. Although it is the only poem of the series not to mention her name, the poem is a mere 8 lines long, 2 stanzas. So it has 2 stanzas and it belongs to a collection of poems known as the Lucy poems. And this is the only poem which does not mention her name. Now, what is a lyrical ballad? Yes, a lyrical ballad with a few other poems is a collection of poems by William Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge, first published in 1798 and generally considered to have marked the beginning of the English Romantic movement in literature. So the lyrical ballads are actually a beginning of the English Romantic movement in literature. There were various movements in English literature which came about during the 1700s and the lyrical ballads were actually demonstrating, they were actually a portrayal of the romantic feeling and emotion. They would, the feelings of love and passion. They were all written and with the help of the lyrical ballets. All of this collection, this aspect of English literature is written as lyrical ballets. This was a small intro about lyrical ballets. Now, what questions can you get from this poem? The first question, which is important, is what is a human fear? What are human fears? Because this is the first line of that of the poem. So, what is a human fear? It is a emotion. So, what is a human fear? It is an emotion which obviously humans feel. Then the next question that you might be asked is, who wrote the poem? Who wrote the poem? And the name is, who wrote the poem A Slumber? And you all know it's written by William Wordsworth. Now, the third question that you could be asked is, what are lyrical ballets? What are lyrical ballets? Lyrical ballets belong to the romantic collection of poems and it is a part of the romantic movement. Yeah, it's already there. So these are three questions that you could be asked. They are tentative. And with this, we come to the end of the poem, A Slumber Did My Spirit Seal. I hope you've understood the poem really well. Do visit us for the next chapter. Thank you so much.